Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Imbong and I'm from the Center for Latin American Arts at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. And I am the Special Events Coordinator and Social Media Associate. And this is my colleague.
Hi, my name is Carol Lopez. I am the Chief Coordinator at the Center for Latin American Arts and the Education Liaison for the South Texas Public Schools. And today the City of Edinburgh has chosen to honor the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ofrendas are traditional Mexican tradition. It originally came from Aztec indigenous background and it combined it with European beliefs. So this is why you see calaveras there, because the indigenous were not actually used to displaying the bones. This is Spanish European belief. The same thing with the Catrina. They wanted to make it less of God of the Dead. There's something more beautiful, more celebrated.
Okay, so in addition to these ofrenda traditions, there are several decorations that are involved with it that consist of religious articles, primarily icons such as the Virgin of Guadalupe, crucifixes, or saints such as Saint Jude or Saint Joseph or Saint Martin de Porres. In this case, in addition to the calaveras that my colleague has mentioned, we also decorate the altar with the Catrina, which is a skull lady who comes from the upper class who is dressed in Victorian wear. And this was originally designed by the artist Jose Guadalupe Posada and later renamed and redressed by the iconic artist and muralist Diego Rivera, which is a criticism for the wealthy that they too, despite their money and privilege, cannot avoid the kiss of death. So here in this altar we have several Catrinas, calaveras, candles, flowers, the favorite foods, the favorite items of the judge, such as collars, necklaces, and dresses. Primarily within her background, she has an affinity for fashion and the visual arts, as her father was a furrier in New York City, and her mother worked at a garment factory, so her love for fashion and the arts blossomed throughout her career, as she befriended friendships with Diane von Furstenberg, who is a feminist fashion designer icon, who also designed the wrap dress in the 70s, and was the former Council of the Fashion Designers of America. She was the former president of the Council of Fashion Designers of America. And in addition to her support for fashion and her proclivity for colors and femininity, she also supported museum work, specific exhibitions such as Degas and the Opera at the National Gallery of Art, which happened earlier this year in March. So those are her affinities.
Justice Ginsburg was one of 9 women accepted in Harvard Law back in the 1950s, 60s. The dean actually was very upset and constantly yelled at them, telling that they took the spots of men that should have gone before her. So even with all that, she was still first place in her class. Later on, she married and moved to Columbia to finish her law degree. There, her husband got cancer as well. Not only was she a full-time mother, but she also was a full-time student and going to her husband's classes, taking notes for him so he would not fall behind. And she was still in first place in her entire year. She later fought for civil rights for everyone, from single fathers that were denied financial help from the government to the gay community, Latino community, Black community, Asian community. She fought against discrimination. She fought for human rights. She was always a fighter for people because she believed that people deserve to have their own choices, not to have their choices taken away from them. She was later nominated in 1993 by Bill Clinton for Supreme Court judge. It was actually one of the smoothest court hearings that have ever happened, and she won unanimously with almost all the votes. She was a very important figure in not only in feminist history, but U.S. history. She is the reason women have access to having their own bank account. She is the reason women cannot be fired because they are pregnant. She is the reason why single fathers are allowed to have financial support from the government, because they too need help, not just a single mother. She realized that and she decided to help for them. Out of 9 court cases that she fought against the Supreme Justice before she was even a judge, she won 5 out of 9. She was an incredibly talented woman, always fought for everyone, always spoke her mind, and to this day she would always be remembered as a true warrior for everyone. Woman, man, child, did not matter. She was your fighter and she would always fight for you.
As my colleague explained, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has been an icon of change for feminism and rights for humanity in terms of all our minorities, with the LGBTQI community and people of color and women as well. So in addition to all her academic accolades and her profound changes in politics, we came here to also honor her affinity for the arts and in fashion, as Sophia has explained before. So we're going to explain her continuous affinity for the arts, her affinity for collars, for fashion,
For her gloves.
for
Her lace gloves.
her lace gloves and her collars, which was a part of her iconography in terms of inserting femininity within a masculine-dominated type of industry, which is politics. So because of that, she was able to support women's voices and voices of the marginalized, as well as supporting the visual arts and having a holistic perspective that is the complete package between aesthetic and substance, which is something revolutionary and endearing. So we've explained that here, and you can see by the objects in the altar, we have a kaftan velvet dress in the middle, and we have several color necklaces on the mannequin as well, along with the sugar skulls or the calaveras or the Katrina dolls, along with grapes, candles, pears, fruits, and assorted flowers such as the marigold, which is symbolic in the Day of the Dead. And this concludes our presentation. The Center for Latin American Arts at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley would like to thank the City of Edinburgh for our invitation. This is Daniel signing off.
Mrs. Carol Lopez signing